Happy Devils Sunday. This is the Let's Go Devils podcast, Season 8, Episode 3, titled Devils Off to Prague. I'm your host, Sam Wu, here with, well, I don't know where he is, Beer Baron, somewhere in the studio. His excuse is, oh, my kids got up, I got to put them back to bed. That's what he usually says. And then Shorts guy is out on assignment, and there is the infamous Scotty, a Sirius XM liquid metal that has all the connections in the music industry. Streaming live on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X Live, paying for X Live so you can watch us on X Live, and Twitch on the Let's Go Devils Network. As the Devils are going off to Prague, 0-4 in the preseason. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll have season predictions. We'll have all sorts of talk. But before we begin, did you guys get the Erica Wachter pep talk video sent to us? I sent it in the group chat earlier.
Yeah, I saw it.
Were you fired up? I was fired up.
Fired up.
Yeah,
we're going to miss her.
Yeah.
Really am going to miss her.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we could get her on the podcast.
I'm sure we'll be seeing her on the NHL network throughout the season. So
but
she won't be too far away.
Yeah.
Right over there in Secaucus.
Yeah,
she's not too far away. And then maybe now we won't have to worry about all those other,
red tape
hurdles that we used to have to jump through to get people on the show. Maybe now it'll be a little bit easier to get our good friend Erica to come on and talk a little Devils hockey with us. So
yeah. I
I
wonder what kind of inside information she can give us. God, my glasses are driving me crazy right now. They won't sit right. Inside information from Erica Wachter. That should be maybe we could do that weekly. Sam, get on this. Start writing notes. A weekly update by the Inside Report by Erica Wachter.
The Erica Wachter Watchers.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Watch report. Like real big.
The Wachter Watch.
The Wachter Watch. There we go.
Yeah.
Very
it's like
nice.
The Doppler. Like the Doppler, but it's Erica Wachter. Oh, there you go. It's not the Doppler. It's Erica Wachter. We're either doing a podcast or coming up with a rap song right now. I can't figure it out. But
or maybe she's the doctor, Erica Wachter.
I didn't know it was a doctor. Oh, my friends, it's Erica Wachter. Hello. Erica, nice to see you again.
I couldn't wear my glasses today, by the way, because I'm so connected, as Sam Wu says, that I don't have central air conditioning. So if I had my glasses on right now, they would be steamed up because I could already feel the sweat dripping down like the back of my neck and everything from turning my AC off.
Yeah, dude, it's actually a little chilly out on this side of the country, and rainy and miserable. But you know what's not miserable? The start of the season being right around the corner, because our boys are on their way to Prague. Wheels are up, and the boys are in the air, and they are sending the squad over there, and that includes one Seamus Casey, who is set to possibly make his NHL debut. Now, is it going to happen in Prague? That's a question for Scotty Kreina, because I don't know.
Prague?
Is it going to happen or not? In Prague?
In Prague?
Do you think he's going to make his debut opening night in Prague?
His debut in Prague?
His debut?
Is he on? I don't even know. I didn't even see that. Is he on the trip over there?
Unless my sources are incorrect, which my sources are Twitter, so that could be. They could be.
I think James Nichols of New Jersey Hockey Now. I think he confirmed that. I think I might have. Yeah, I think I've retweeted that out. If you want to go on my Twitter account at Primetime Sam Wu, there's a plug right there.
I don't have me a Twitter, so I don't really know. I stay away from that cesspool of
But Scotty,
it is cesspool.
Where do you get your latest news of where this podcast is going to be? JoinOurCrew.com? Is that where you go?
Join Our Crew. Yeah, that's where I go. I just go to JoinOurCrew.com.
Yeah, you know, Twitter. Yeah,
I don't need a Twitter when you have Join Our Crew. You don't need Twitter. That's a whole social scene in itself right there.
I know.
The two 200 updates that we have that have been sent to joinourcrew.com.
Nonstop. Be
More-
prepared to be
more-
inundated.
More like it
With
was
information.
2. More like it's 2. It was
Yeah,
one, the
it's
intro.
200 updates.
200,000.
200,000 updates that
And the
we've
second
done
one,
already.
second one was, they kicked us out of parking lot M or so whatever that was. We're here now.
Welcome to
Oh,
Rocky
gosh.
5000. Yeah,
It'll
dude.
be interesting. I guess if he's on the plane, I mean, I don't know if it's there just for, just in
Insurance
case
purposes.
because, Brett, don't call me Joe Pesci, is still recovering from his off-season surgery.
Yeah, but I think
And
he's
Sheamus,
good to go.
nice, Steven. Sheamus, don't call me McFly. Casey, Back to Future 3. There you go. Sheamus McFly. Maybe I'll
Sheamus
trade it in for
McFly.
a new hat.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
No, I thought that was pretty good. That was like one of, I actually like 3 better than 2. In that.
I like the part where they pour him water and it's just like dirty water and he just like flicks the gun. But I don't know. I wouldn't see. I don't see Casey getting in there. I mean, you never know. Someone might get injured in the first game.
You know what?
It's
But he
happened
also-
before.
He also had one hell of a preseason. So, I mean, is there a chance that he
I will
won the
say-
coaches over? That Sheldon Keefe is like, okay, you know what? I think we can trust the kid. I mean, starting with a rookie in the
what?
lineup is never ideal, but
Yeah, and one preseason game or 2 preseason games. I will say this. Woo! 2-4 looked like lightning out there. When I was watching the the Capitals game, where they ended up losing. What was it, 5-3? I think they gave up an empty netter there at the end. Boy, he looked good, and he's a lot bigger than I thought he was as well.
yeah.
But I was really happy to see Sheamus Casey out there. I don't think it will be long before we see him in the NHL, but I would think that maybe they don't go the same route that they were forced to go with Nemitz last year because of all the injuries. Now that you have the backup with Kovacevic and DeSimone here, I don't know if you really need to take that chance of putting Casey in the lineup and then all of a sudden being like, I don't know, maybe we should keep him up here. And we're going through all those, learning and growing pains again. We're going to go through that anyway with Luke, still figuring things out. I mean, I guess that's the wrench in there is Luke getting hurt, So
Yeah, and it doesn't mean when Luke comes back, is Sheamus being cast off to the AHL?
that's the hard part. If you put him in there for 4 weeks and then all of a sudden it's like, nah, you're doing really great, kid, but see you later. It's tough. But then all of a sudden you're loading up your defense with, a lot of really inexperienced, parts. And we saw what happened with that last year. I mean, last year was out of a necessity. But this year, I don't know if it's actually a necessity to do that because you have so much other backup. And also, Dougie's back now. Pesci's going to be back soon. So, I don't know. Do you give him a taste for a game or two? Or do you just, you put him on the plane. You got him over there. He gets a little, see how everything runs in an actual real game setting at the NHL level.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
Hataka as well.
I think you nailed it on the head, though. I think what's going to happen.
I did. I don't think I actually gave an answer.
No.
I was stalling, waiting for one of you guys to jump in.
No, in a roundabout, in a weird roundabout way. I think you nailed on something that if they sent him over, does it necessarily mean that he's going to be playing or starting? Probably not. But at the same time, like what you can envision seeing or happening is like, come on, kid, like you did great in the preseason. Come on the trip with us. Just in case, because we have the trust in you. If somebody gets sick, if somebody gets hurt, like at least we know we have somebody that we can trust and throw in there. But don't be surprised if he sees no game action. They come back to the States and he goes right to the AHL. That wouldn't surprise me at all. It might just be like a attaboy kind of trip. Who knows? Sheldon
And it
Keefe
could
could
be
also
just to
be.
Go
Yeah,
ahead, I'm
just
sorry.
to get no, like you said, like to get that his feet wet and to just see how the team works and to see like, all right, this is like you saw the preseason, but this is different. Now we're getting ready for the real deal. So it could be
But
that.
also to keep him maybe practicing, with the top team, for a little bit longer before he does go back down to the AHL level. Because, they still have some preseason games over here in the States, which are obviously going to be
Yep.
a lot of AHL players, all the PTOs that are just figuring out, damn it, I'm not actually going to make this team.
Yeah,
They
I
just
didn't make
need
it
us
to
for
Prague.
preseason games. Ah! I didn't get to go to Prague. What's happening
Why not?
here?
What is in Prague? Yeah,
Oh, thank you,
you know
Dubs. Is Hataka is dinged up, right? Okay.
yeah.
And then we have to figure out with Hataka because I think he's like you can't like he would have to go through waivers, I think, to send him back down, if I'm not mistaken. So that's another part of the plan as well. I mean, if Hataka's out for a little bit, then Casey could then take that. But I mean, obviously Casey wouldn't have to go through waivers, to get sent to the AHL. I think if Hataka goes on waivers, he'll get claimed by someone.
Yeah. Nova when the AHL wins tomorrow, it's going to hit real hard. I like that. Yeah, we'll get into we're going to get into that in a minute because we're going to talk a little bit about the preseason and the fear that everybody has of the preseason being a complete disaster because we're 0-4 in the preseason.
Last year we were undefeated.
And look at how it went. And look at how it went. It went up in smoke right in our face. So maybe this is the reverse.
So this year, it's the George Costanza method. We do the complete opposite, and then everything is going to go okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's what my season
Jerry,
predictions are going to run along that.
This is my religion. This is what I do. I take every notion of good thought and just do the complete opposite.
I tried doing that in fantasy football. It's not really working out yet.
Well, I don't think that's working for anybody because everyone is hurt.
I know.
Fantasy football this year is kind of like the Devils' season last year, where everybody is hurt. But yes, Tom, you're correct. Pesci is skating now. Allowed to take 3 extra players. Okay, that's what it is. Okay, so yeah. I don't know. I don't know if Casey will get in there, but it's a nice little tip of the hat to him, though, that he's getting to travel overseas and get that whole experience and everything like that. So good for him. And man, if you were excited about, Luke Hughes and Simone Nemitz, you should be very excited about Seamus Casey because he looks like he's really going to be something special.
But we have like a logjam on the right side, so that also means this is kind of interesting because what is going to happen with this? It's a good problem to have, right?
It's a good problem to have.
But if you put him in the AHL and you let him sit in the AHL and develop for the first year, hopefully that's the case because we don't need him. And this year goes smoothly and everybody stays healthy, knock on wood, and he can develop nicely in the AHL. And then next year, in the offseason, you see what happens because maybe there's a move to be made. Hey, maybe there's a move to be made at the deadline. You never know. So that's one of those things, too, where it's like these good problems are good problems to have because it's the obvious. You want to have like, hey, this guy's really good. We can't just keep him out of the lineup forever. Like if we put him in, he might give us a different look or a different dynamic. As of right now, it's a good problem to have, and it's going to be interesting to see like what Fitzgerald does going forward.
Absolutely, and it gives us more, trade chips and stuff like that, eventually. But Seamus Casey, he looked good. He looked good. The Devils have looked a little, shaky here and there in the preseason, but Casey, man, he was noticeable out there on the ice. I will say that. You saw where 2-4 was going, and he's a bigger body than I really anticipated. You see like clips and stuff like that. You don't really notice it too much, but getting out there in that game, I was definitely impressed. Watching that Capital. I didn't see the last. What was it against the Islanders where they lost? Like, what was it 5-1 or something like that?
5-1, yeah, 5-1.
I didn't see that game, but the Capitals one was the last one that I got to see.
Yeah, and listen, I know there's a lot of people that are disappointed that the Devils are winless. That Markstrom's been letting up a bunch of goals. That Allen's been letting up a bunch of goals. If this was 20 games in, I'd be like, yeah, we're screwed again, and who knows what we're gonna have to do to fix this. Preseason's different, man. People aren't really going into the corners as hard. I know Sheldon Keefe was, pretty pissed off about the team's effort in a couple of the games, and rightfully so, because you never want to get blown out. That's the last thing you want to see. But at the same time, I kind of take everything with a grain of salt. You got a new defensive core, you got new goaltenders, you have new coaching, you have all these new pieces in place. And it's not making an excuse, it's just the reality of what's happening with this team right now. And even in the beginning of the season, like I said last week, if we start out slow and they're 2-8 or 5-10 or whatever the heck the case may be in the first 10-15 games, if they start out a little slow out of the gate, I don't even think it's time to panic. There's so many new pieces that have to start to gel. Hopefully, this trip over to Prague is that first step where the team gets to build more chemistry. They get to they got a long plane ride ahead of them right now. So hopefully on the plane ride, they're flying over, doing whatever they do on those planes, playing cards or what have you, and just getting to know each other on a different level, like some of the newer guys. I got to tell you what, Dylan has been one of my favorite additions to this team so far. Just by everything he says, The dude is like, he's hilarious. He was talking about, I don't know if he was talking to Amanda Stein the other day, but he was saying how he's like, yeah, I love it, this area. He's like, I've been to a Mets game, a Giants game. He's like, I'm driving a little bit faster, and he's like, I'm starting to pick up an accent. I'm like, I love this guy, the real big deal, and he scored a goal the other day. So the big deal can score goals.
I'm starting to like Paul Cotter right now,
and Cotter too.
Cotter's going to be really good, man. I'm telling you, he's going to be Blake Coleman-esque.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's got some mitts. He really does. And he's gonna put some pucks in the net. He's not gonna be putting 35, 40 goals in there, but he's gonna be a reliable, bottom six type of player. And he is gonna hit a lot of people. A lot. And so is Brendan Dillon. He's gonna freight train some guys.
I got a good way of getting making room for.
And yes, Tom has said no Dylan jersey for you.
I'm
Sam.
getting a Siegenthaler jersey as soon as possible.
Yeah. By the way, Supernova. I'm calling him the Big Dill, and watch what happens. You're going to start to you see that on the Twitter or the X. It's gonna start to explode.
Big pickle jar comes up.
The Big Dill. Big Dill.
Interesting.
Yeah, but Cotter's dude. I like his game, but not just that. Like both of these guys are. Dylan got into a fight the other night too, and he just obliterated that kid from the Islanders. So I mean, this is a team that's going to be able to handle their own. They're not going to have a guy go out there and get his rear end kicked by somebody that's 6 inches taller than him, like when they sent poor John Marino out to die. So now you got guys that are going to go out there and they're going to stand up for people. You got guys that are going to go out there and like set the tone. So it's a different team. It's a different team, and I feel like it's going to be a well-balanced team too. The giant pickle.
Giant pickle. There you go. That's what's going to come up on the screen at the Rock every time he scores.
Probably. They're working on it. They're listening right now. They're like, "Oh, that's a good idea. That's a
good idea.
Let's steal another one from these guys.
Let's get that. Let me get that out in the computer."
How about throwing pickles out on the ice every time he scores?
Yeah, pickle race. Oh, you could have pickle race.
Well, we got a pickle. Yeah, there you
If
go.
they, yeah. If they ever get,
and it's the big deal coming in first place.
If they ever got Coleman back on this team, like if they ever traded Coleman back on this team, they could do that scene from what was that? Was that Happy? No, it wasn't Happy Gilmore. Dude, come on, help me out. But they have the pickle race. Who do you think was hotter, Meg Ryan or Jack Nicholson? Jack Nicholson now or? Come on, what movie is this? Dang, man,
I don't
my
even
brain's
know.
not working.
You're asking me? I don't watch
Yeah,
movies.
I'm asking anybody.
Well,
anyways, back to our topic.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the Devils had a rough so far preseason, but it's okay. It's just preseason. It doesn't count. And you also have to remember this team is learning a whole new system with Sheldon
guys
Keefe.
are coming back from injury too.
Guys are coming back from injury, but Sheldon Keefe and Lindy Ruff do not coach the same system. So it always takes a little bit for the team
I think you're right, Zach.
to get their grips on the way to play for this new coach. And you see that a lot when guys get traded. You see, they got to get used to the system and everything like that. I think that's a lot of what's going on over here right now. And as Beer Baron was saying, let's not fly off the handle if the Devils start out a little slow this year. I wouldn't be surprised that they do. Because, again, they're learning this whole new way to play under Sheldon Keefe. And there's a lot of new guys on the team as well that need to gel and mesh together.
Yeah.
So,
and listen, Ritter Engine was saying before, like, the effort was crap. And, like, yeah, the effort wasn't there in some of the games, and the effort could be definitely improved. But you're also – you have certain guys that I probably don't want to go 100% right now because they're like, they look at what happened to Patrick Laine, which is like some people will be like, oh, that was a fluky play. It wasn't a fluky play. It was a guy who, was looking to. I hate knee to knees so bad. It's just it's such a cheap, dirty hit. Like just, I don't know. Anyways, but like whatever happened, you see what happened to Patrick Laine up in Montreal, and it's like. That could happen to any of the guys out in the ice. So, are they going to go all out? Probably not. They're not going to go like 100%, and sometimes that's going to affect your effort. But at the same time, like, yeah, you would like to see a better consistency from some of them. But listen, it's the season still hasn't started.
It's fine. Yeah, it's
fine.
It's
fine.
It's preseason. They will find their consistency. They will find their way, but it's going to take a little bit to get used to this new system of Sheldon Keefe. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So don't no one, fly off the handle if they start out a little bit slow. It'll be okay.
Don't get me wrong. Okay. It would be nice to have Jack getting that like 3-point a game pace that he had at the beginning of last season. That would be sweet if he could just pick up right off. Of
course. And that's completely possible because he's Jack Hughes and he's a superstar. But the entire team may take a little bit to get into, a regular swing of things, especially on the defense. You got new guys coming in with Dylan. Pesci's not even playing. Luke's not playing. Dougie's coming back from a torn pec, which, is a difficult – I still expect Dougie to put up points. I still say he'll be over 50, 60 points this year. But it's a difficult injury to come back from. But, what I saw from Dougie in these preseason games, I don't want him going full speed right now and tweaking something before the season even starts. But he had a couple shots from the point that looked good. And, that's a big deal. Seamus Casey, playing in preseason. There's a lot of guys here that are playing that are probably not going to make the team, that are going to be in the AHL. And they're all trying to blend together. And it's going to take a little bit of time to get Sheldon Keefe's system down.
Yeah, and that's a great point, too. It's like you have like all these different AHLers. Go on, go.
I was just gonna say, and you think the Devils' offer is bad? Craig Berube up there in Toronto goes, "Hey guys, play like it's Game 7," and they went out and lost.
They went out and lost, but that was one crazy game, though. I don't know if you saw the highlights of that game. That game was wacky.
Play like it's Game 7, boys.
And blow out
Taking
Patrick
the L.
Laine's knee. Yeah, taking
the L.
Taking that out. All the way back to Toronto. Yeah, dude. Like, a lot of the guys that you see up here, you're not going to see in a little while. You know, like they're going to be back in the AHL. But one of the things that I look for the beginning of the year is I would like to see Timo Meier and Dawson Mercer specifically getting off to a decent start. They don't have to get off to like an insane, kind of Jack Hughes start like he had last year. Like, I just want them to. I don't want it to be like, oh, it's 15 games in and Timo hasn't scored yet, or wow, Dawson Mercer has 2 points and we're 25 games in. Like, get off to a decent start. Get off to like a healthy start. And I feel like Timo coming back this year, getting that surgery post Lindy, I feel like he probably feels like a new person. Because the second half of that season last year was I think the Timo that we all signed up for. So get them out there and get them like contributing and putting up numbers like right away. And I guess that really does go for like Jesper Bratt, Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, like all the guys that you should rely on, because this is a team with tons of talent. And it's about time that the talent just kind of takes that step up and they're like, all right. And oh my God, especially games they know you should win. Last year, that was our Achilles heel. We'd be like, oh, here come the Ducks, and take a giant dump on the ice.
We had a lot of Achilles heels last year.
Oh, well, yeah. But that
Let's try to score first every now and then as well, so we're not always constantly chasing.
Always chasing.
The entire season. But I think this is going to be a good team. I think it's going to take them a little bit to get the system down, to play together, to really become a team, because there's just so much change from last year. And there's a lot of new guys, and there's a lot of guys coming back from injury. And it's just not like, boom, there we go. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
So I think, they're going to have these 2 games against Buffalo, against Lindy. I heard Lindy took away the iPads from the Sabres. They're not allowed to, have any of the iPads on the way over. He's going to punch them like he used to punish the Devils.
You guys can't play Animal Crossing. I'm taking them away. And then he walks around. He probably walked around with a laundry basket, like an angered parent. Put it in the basket.
Put it in.
Put it in the basket. Come on. I'm locking them up in my closet until we're
you
back.
You can get them when we land. When you're deboarding the plane.
Oh my God! Either that, or he has nightmares of Jack on the bench watching like the Devils get scored on over and over and over again on his little iPad.
I just think it's going to take a little bit for the team to gel, and they will, though. I think they will. And once this team really gets Sheldon, Keefe's system down, they are going to be a really, really difficult team for others to contend with, because they're going to be utilizing that speed in the best way possible. We've already heard Keefe talk about it. Get to the puck, attack, attack, attack. It's not just going to be home run pass all the time, but they need to utilize that speed. And there were times where the Devils did last year, and then that was another one of those Achilles heels where they would go to sleep for half the game. Hopefully Sheldon Keefe is a coach that can keep them out there for that full 60-minute effort, which is something this team is going to need. But I also truly believe that players like, a Brendan Dillon, a Paul Cotter coming in here, I think they're going to really help to make this team go for 60 minutes straight. Because they're going to get out there and they're going to chug away and they're going to be hitting some people, and they're going to provide a spark to that bench.
Yeah.
They're not gonna go out there and shy away.
Cotter had over like 260 hits or something like that last year.
They both had over 200. I mean, we're talking like 230. I think Dylan was like in the 240s, and I think Cotter's was in like the two teens somewhere.
I don't know. I think Cotter had more than that. Either way, like well over 200 hits. Bringing that physical presence, and that's the other thing too. Is like the thing that this team lacked last year was any kind of physical presence. You know, guys.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like guys just like would lose bat. Like even dudes you would think like would go into a corner and fight were like going in and pulling up short. You could tell, and I kept saying this like throughout the second half of the season. I'm like, dude, something's really wrong with Jack. Like when he came back, if you watched him play closely, like he avoided contact, like in every way he could, and it wasn't just like going into the corners and getting dirty. It was like no, even like coming up the boards. Like if you remember that pass he had to Dougie Hamilton against the Golden Knights 2 years ago, where he like basically was getting sandwiched into the boards and still made a pass, and Dougie, took a slapper and scored, which I think was either the game winner or the overtime winner. That play was set up because he sacrificed his body into the like he knew he was going to get crushed into those boards, but he did it, and he made a hell of a play because of it. That second half of the year, he wouldn't even dare do anything like that. And I get it now. Like, yeah, obviously hindsight 2020, like having to get that shoulder surgery, like there definitely was something wrong with him. But like even his shot was off. Like you could tell he wasn't like 100%. So I'm really, really hoping that he's back up to speed too.
I think it was all that he did that reverse hit. I can't remember on who it was, but he did like a reverse hit where he saw someone, coming at him to give him a shoulder check, and he kind of stopped short and then laid his shoulder into the chest of that opposing player. And I think that was it. I really think that was it. And I was psyched when he did it because I'm like, yeah, Jackie boy, go, yeah. But then it's just like, ooh, be careful, Jack. Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah. And that was Chicago. That was against Chicago. And that was the game that and that was the game that he hurt himself. He like reverse hit and then like shortly after, remember he kind of like fell awkwardly and like he didn't like fall all the way on the ice, but he kind of like I looked like maybe he braced himself with his arm, and then he kind of like came up and was like, "Ooh." It just sucked. It sucks watching your superstar get hurt, especially like the pace that he was on at the beginning of the season. I was like, damn, this dude is going to be like screw 100 points. He's going to be pushing like $115, like $120. Like he was on a Rocket Richard pace like at one point, but things happen. He gets, he's on a partial breakaway. He gets tripped up, goes diving into the boards. Every time that happens, and that's kind of what happened to Nemec too in the Worlds, is this very similar play where he kind of got dumped and like fell into the boards. I cringe every time I see that because it just I'm like, oh god, there goes somebody's shoulder, and then like I instantly think I'm like, what could they do to like protect themselves? And there's not much you can do. You're going at a super fast speed, and you're just going to get dumped into there.
Apparently, Stephen Engel says it was a reverse mortgage that got Jack Hughes, actually.
All right, then. All right.
So, there it is.
Yeah.
Case solved.
Yeah, case solved. Now we know.
Yeah.
And knowing is half the battle.
Yeah. He tried to save 15% with Geico, but it didn't work out,
Yeah. Should have talked to Jake from State Farm.
Yeah.
He would have been in a much better
Jake
position.
out there.
Old Jakey.
But yeah, I'm excited for this season, and I think it's going to be, a hell of a year for this team. I think they're finally really going to find themselves, that identity for this team. Now that they have that beef backing up, the skilled players, because they were just more on the skilled and speed side, but now they got that beef back there too. To really instill that fear in the opposing team of you just cannot take advantage of our skilled players, like teams were in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Look no further than what the Florida Panthers did to Nico Hischier, over and over again.
Well, and that was in
or what they deemed was a dirty play, but it
was a dirty play to Ekblad when he leaned forward and went into Ekblad's knee, and everybody was like,
accident.
"Oh, he did it on purpose. He did it on purpose."
I don't think it was a dirty play. I think it was an accident. Did it suck? Yeah, you don't want to see people get injured, but the Panthers were taking liberties. They ran him all the time.
Oh my god!
And no one did anything. The only one that did anything, I think it was Thomas Tatar.
Yeah.
Was the only one who actually stood up for Nico. So now that these guys are a little bit older, they're not like kids anymore. Now you're men.
Yeah, and I think Nico squashed whatever that beef was, because last season you didn't see Florida going after him as much, and I think that they off the ice they talked about it and stuff like that, which is great. And listen, things happen.
But it's a mindset, though. Look at the way Florida, protected even though it wasn't a dirty play, look at the way Florida just went and attacked and protected their captain, who isn't a rough and tumble guy. He's not a captain who's going to be dropping the gloves, he's not no Scott Stevens or anything like that. Or even, because he's a setter. He's no Jerome McGinley or Jonathan Toews, who's going to go out there and drop the gloves and fight guys. That team went, and right or wrong, they said, we're protecting our boy. Now you got guys on the Devils who I'm hopeful will do the same thing if someone tries to come at a Jack Hughes or a Jesper Bratt or even Nico Hischier. What were you going to say, Sam?
Oh, your theory.
My conspiracy theory, I think the Florida Panthers felt bad for the Devils. That's why they didn't attack Nico.
Maybe.
That's your theory?
Yeah.
Maybe.
They're on the losing. They're already lost. They're just so fragile as is. Lost Dougie. Lost Jack. Lost everybody.
Yeah, AW before the game. Hell yeah. Yeah, dude, I don't necessarily disagree with that theory, but at the same time, I doubt or they're just we're already beating them. Who cares?
Yeah, we can't waste our energy on these guys.
Well, either way, I think the Devils have the personnel now to be a little more Florida Panthers like.
Mm-hmm.
Which would be a good thing in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, agreed. And you're going to have to, because guess what? You have that idiot team across the river who's Matt Rempe's the coolest guy. You see how many people signed up for his autograph session and blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? Now we got the Big Dill. Now we got McDermott.
Who cares about Rempe?
Now we got Cotter. Yeah, I don't care about it either, because now I don't look at that situation and be like, oh God, this dude's gonna take an elbow at Jack again, or he's gonna try and hurt one of our guys again. It's well, guess what? If you try to do any of that stuff, now we have the muscle behind it to be no. You're not gonna get that. You're not gonna get away that easy and just try to do something stupid against this team.
I'm more concerned with a team like the Florida Panthers that we're gonna have to play pretty often, and the Boston Bruins, even the Capitals. They're a rough. They got some rough and tumbled guys. Even Ovechkin, he's not gonna pass up on leveling guys. He's gonna go out there and he's gonna throw that body.
Yeah, listen. The Capitals are also an older team. They're a heavy team. They've always been a heavy team, and we struggled against heavy teams in the past. Boston, Washington, these teams, because we get worn out in the corners, you get worn out against the boards, you're getting worn out by just the overall size and sometimes the aggressiveness of their teams. But this team, what I think is what's going to rule the day in the NHL is balance. Is having speed on a couple of lines, but also having that grit and that feistiness on the other lines as well. And I feel like the Devils have finally accomplished that. Like, I feel like Fitzgerald has put together a team that has very, very good balance. And look at the Florida Panthers. Like, if you look at their team last year, people are like, "Oh, they're all grit, they're all grit, they're all grit." I'm like, hell, dude, yes, they're gritty as hell, but they have some talent on that team. They had some just elite goal scorers on that team. Like, that team had perfect balance to me. And like Bobrovsky, there was games that Bobrovsky like stole and won for that team when they needed him. But for the most part, Bobrovsky was like, well, he almost lost them to Stanley Cup. But Bobrovsky was just good enough for them to do what they did. If you look at the model that we're building, I feel like we're building that similar kind of Florida model with an exception. The exception being, we have the lighter, faster guys in like Jack Hughes, Jasper Bratt, and I think that's going to play out in our favor. Some of these bigger guys are going to clear the way, and you're going to watch Cotter play on Jack's line. I guarantee you, if Cotter, if he can, start contributing right away, I wouldn't be shocked if you see Cotter playing alongside Jack.
I said it last week. I'll say it again. Put old Big Mac out there. We'll go Jim McKenzie style, like Gomez and McGinley, and then just put Jesper and Jack together and let McDermott out there just clear a path through everyone. They can do it on their own. Jesper and Jack, they can just do it on their own.
Yeah.
You got Big Mac out there as well. Whoo! Ain't no one gonna be messing around then.
Cotter,
like phone.
Haula, and Hughes. That'd be an interesting line.
That would be an interesting line.
I think Jack and Jesper are going to be linked. And I think Timo and Nico will be linked.
I think you're right on that.
That's my.
And I think
that's
that
just
I think they'll have a power
we gotta
line.
figure out.
They'll have like a power line where they'll throw out like pop. Like, remember there was Lindy messed with this a couple of times where it was like Jack, Nico, and Jasper Bratt like on the same line. Like, you might have like a line that you throw together. Yeah, you might have a line where you throw them together where you're like, all right, or like Timo, Jack, and Jesper, or whatever combination of like your top goal scorers are going to be. But yeah, I like when Eric Hall plays with Jack, and Eric Hall also
Jack
has
likes playing with Eric Hall.
Exactly, I was just about to say he has Jack to thank for his contract.
He might really like playing with Curtis McDermott as well.
Well, he might.
Hey, Curtis.
Big rig.
No one's gonna come and hit me
Can
today,
I
right?
help you?
Okay, good. Yeah.
He just pats him on the head. You got it, little buddy.
Yeah. He's like the dude from Happy Gilmore
With the nail on his head?
with the nail on his head.
Sorry about that.
I'll be waiting for you in the parking
Dr.
lot,
Seth-
shooter.
Next week. Hey, that's Happy's jacket.
Wasn't that guy a
by
Bond
the way,
villain too? Wasn't he?
He was
Jaws
yeah.
or
He was
something
Jaws.
like that.
He
Yeah,
was
right.
Jaws, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, that Happy Gilmore 2, which I'm still waiting for my my extra call for that, but Happy Gilmore 2 is basically filming like all around my house, like everywhere I look. He's up in Hackettstown. He's over at Fiddler's Elbow, which is not that far away. I'm like, damn, dude, they're like all around this area, which is kind of fun.
Do you know the name of his son? Because MJF, the wrestler, is going to be Happy Gilmore's son.
Is it really?
His son's name will be Pickles.
Oh, that's awesome. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. So,
but yeah, I would love to see Jack and Jesper out there with a Paul Cotter, or even like a Nolan Foote at some point during the season. Curtis McDermott. I would just they don't even have to stay for the entire game, but a couple times, just put those guys out there on that line with them, and let Jack and Jesper just run wild. Just let them run wild, because they'll have all the protection in the world with those guys. So I for one would love to see something like that. Again, I still go back to that year that Mogilny had 47, 48 goals there that year with Gomez. And because they just ran free because no one was messing with Jim McKenzie, like.
Yeah. It's funny because like I expect them to do something like that, but at the same time, like hopefully this team has like the flexibility. The third and fourth lines are going to be interesting because you would think that Cotter will probably start out in the fourth line. That what is it, the meat and mitts line that they were talking about? So Cotter, Bastion, and Lazar,
and Bastion,
which I think is a great dude. That's a great fourth line. Like I think that's a very very like complimentary fourth line as long as it's like, all right, we could put these guys out in big areas. Like, okay, the fourth line's out there. We're on the road. They have last change. It's not going to be one of those like, oh crap, the fourth line's out there. Now we're going to get smoked by like in the last 2 minutes because these guys can't get the puck out of the zone or they can't, contribute offensively. I think that's like one of the biggest things too. Like you want to see that third and fourth line contribute, at least something. And you have Dawson Mercer, who he's probably going to be on the top line with Nico because it feels like their chemistry hasn't skipped a beat. You have Tatar, who he might mix into the fold once in a while. There might be like a time where it's like Jack Jesper and Timo, and where you're still getting the size from Timo Meyer, where you're still, but it's not going to be a drop off in goal scoring. And then you go back to that old school line of Tuna, Mercer, and Nico. And it's just a super reliable 200-foot game line. And that you're going to need that sometimes. You're going to need like those games where those guys are going to come in and you're not necessarily looking for them to score, but you're looking for them to shut down the opposing team's top line.
And we all know that these line combinations are set in stone for the entire season. So there will be some change-ups at some point or another. And I'm sure, like you're saying, yeah, for a spell, we probably will get Tatar, Mercer, and Nico, reunited until they get a little cold, and then they'll switch them up again. That's the great thing with the depth that this team has is you look at it and you're like, oh, this guy can work here, this guy can work here, they can work here, they can work here, they can work here. There's a lot of different combinations that Sheldon Keefe is going to be able to play with, which is a very, very good thing. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Stephen Angle, you're talking my language. Bastian Palat Siegenthaler for Brady Tkachuk. I haven't said his name in quite some time, but it is always nice to say how nice it would be to have Brady Tkachuk on this team. Although I don't feel the urgency to get him now. Like before, I was saying it all the time because I was like, this team actually needs it. Like this team needs Brady Tkachuk. I don't feel that urgency where they necessarily have to 1,000% need to get somebody like that. But let's see how the season plays out. And speaking of which, I think it's time to start making some bold predictions. And this is where Sam, I wish you had like graphics, bold predictions. It's like just flashing on the screen. But we're not that cool. We're just three guys sitting around talking about
I could do something.
Here we go. Here's going to see the change.
You see it delete.
Sam literally typing it. Yeah.
And then typing it out. Bold predictions.
It's bold predictions. Wait, hang on. Backspace. Yeah. Hang on. That's an E, not an A. Hang on.
Predictions?
There we go.
There it is. We got a B.
Yeah.
So Dubs, as you're writing this out, Dubs said that we've been practicing with Timo, Jack, and Brat, Mercer, Nico, and Tuna. That's the top six. So I guess there you go. That is the top six. Bring Brady to New Jersey. I do like that. Bold predictions. Brought to you by State Farm Insurance.
Brought to you by And Crew Brew. Make winning memories every year with And Crew Brew and the Let's Go Devils podcast. Join our crew.com.
Val, to answer your question, why would the Sens do that? Because maybe they got hit over the head with a rock or something like that, and they forget how good Brady Tkachuk is, and they're like, we'll give him away for a bag of potatoes. It's all just a pipe dream. It really is just a pipe dream. But, we can dream.
Well, they're going to get a new arena. They're going to get a new arena, so they got to fund it.
Yeah, they do. They got to sell as many tickets as they can. All right, dude. So I'll go first, just because why not? How do you want to do this, Sam? Do you want to do prediction on the season? Do you want to do prediction on wins, like end of the season where they land? What do you want to do?
I got an idea.
Yes.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
can do that. Well, first off,
Should we do a fun little wager?
hang on. First off, here's your question. Here's your first question. Before we get to the actual team, record and everything like that.
Okay.
Over unders. Jack Hughes.
You should write
80 points.
Somebody write. I don't have a
Over,
pen
under.
or a pencil. I would write this down. Over or under.
Mrs.
Over
Wu,
80 points?
Keep writing.
It's being recorded, so it's okay.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Good point.
It'll be saved forever on YouTube. So
Okay,
under Jack Hughes. What do you say? 80 points. Will they be over or under?
Over.
You're saying over. Sam
I'm
Wu?
saying over.
Under.
Sam was going under. Okay.
God, Sam.
I'm definitely going over. Do we have any
What do you guys see out there?
Anybody in the old chat there? Jack Hughes over or under 80 points? I'm going over.
I'm going over.
I'm saying this.
Would
is
you
the
go?
year
Would you
we
go
finally-
over? Would you go over 100? Would you say?
I'm
he's
saying
over
this is.
100?
I think this is the year that he does it, but I'm going to say over
Same.
80. I'll say 80 for right now.
This is the Jack. This is the Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes revenge tour.
Over or under? Dougie Hamilton, 60
Dirk
points.
says under. So wait, let's go back to this real quick. Hold on, back to the Jack Hughes because now we have people chiming in. We have Tom says over for sure. Dirk says under. Stephen Engel says over. 95. Tom
Dub
also
says
said
over.
Yeah, Brat said. Brat said. Yeah, Jesper Brat's in there too. Tom said Brat over 80 as well. Yeah, Brian says Jack Hughes with 110 points, dude. And see, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you, my friend, because I feel like he's going to have one of those seasons where it's just going to be like one night he's got 6 points, one night he's just going to have one of those, like, he's going to play like his hair's on fire. I just have a feeling.
Okay.
Val says over.
So next one, Dougie Hamilton, over or
Okay.
under 60 points?
Over or under 60 points for Dougie? I'm going to say the under on this one just because I who knows with the surgery what caliber he's going to be at. So I'm going to have to unfortunately I'm going to say under 60 points.
Sam?
Under.
Under. Okay. I'll be the lone wolf here then, and I'm gonna go over.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over.
Okay. Stephen Engel says
Anyone?
Dougie under 60. Tom says under. Supernova says over. Hamilton under 60 points says Dubs as well. So Brian
This is
with the
over.
bold
Bryce
prediction
is
of
51.
51 on
Okay.
dude, Brian, you should. These are numbers that if you're feeling this strong, go to AC and or you don't even have to do that. You can go on your phone and do that. Get one of those betting apps and just start putting them in. When I feel a number that strongly, I'll wait. I don't know. Let me put this in.
Okay.
All right. What's the next one?
Here's your next question.
Oh, I got one. If you don't,
This is a yes or no.
okay.
Will Dawson Mercer play once again every game this season? Dawson Mercer has never missed a game in his career. He has an Ironman streak going, knock on wood.
Mm-hmm.
Will Dawson Mercer play every game this season? Yes or no? Beer Baron.
Yes.
Sam Wu.
Yes.
I'm also going with yes.
And it seems like a consensus yes on the chat as well. Everybody's saying yes, yes, yes. All right, I got
Okay.
one for you.
I'm not done.
Oh, all right. Okay, all right.
All right, I'm not done.
We were
I'm
supposed
not
to
done
wrap.
here. Well, we're getting there.
We're in a group,
we
Sam. We're in a group.
We started a little late.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Next question. Over under. Oof. This is a tough one. I'll say Jacob Markstrom.
35 wins.
30 I was going to say 30 wins.
30
wins
over under 30 wins?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 30 wins is he's going to need more than that. Unless Allen is taking up like a third of those games.
Exactly. I got to give you a difficult one here.
I know. I'm going to say over. I'm going to say over with just being hopeful. I'm going to say over because like my heart is saying that Allen is probably going to take like a third of those games, but we still need Markstrom to put up over 30. So I'm going to say over 30. Steven Engel says under 30.
Sam Wu?
Under.
Brian says over. Markstrom.
I'm going to go under
30.
as well.
Oof.
I'm going to go under because I think Jake Allen will get some W's in there, Jake the Snake style,
especially in Vegas. In Vegas on March 2nd.
In Vegas, yeah.
In Vegas,
to piss off those Girl Scouts.
Yeah,
you know? All right, let's do one more.
Do we get Codex says, my question, do we get Brady Kachuk at the trade deadline? Yes. For Siegenthaler, Palat, and whatever that trade offers to whoever said that before.
Okay. Here's your last one.
All right.
Palat. Over under.
Under.
40 points.
Under, and I hope I'm wrong. That's it.
40 points, Sam. Over under for Palat.
Under. I don't think he's going to get 40 games, to be honest.
Wow.
You think he's the odd man out? You think he gets okay? My quick rebuttal question to over under points on him. Over under he gets traded this year. You think yes he gets traded? No, he gets traded.
Who would want to take him?
Yeah, $6 million.
Because we would have to retain. We'd have to retain.
Why would you do that for 3 years?
I'm gonna say Palat has a rebound year, and I'm gonna go over.
Okay.
I'm gonna go over.
Listen, I hope that's the case. It would be nice to see him start putting up actual numbers.
He only had 31 last year, so I think this will be his rebound year.
Sam's looking to wrap. All right, let's get down to brass tacks. Final thing about final prediction on what we think the season's going to be. Overall record and final standings of the year. How about that?
Okay. I don't know about record is kind of hard, but I'll say where I feel like where they're going to end up.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, I got to go first?
Yeah.
Why do I got to go first?
All right, I'll go first then. I'm going to say that I feel like they're going to be in a similar position that they were 2 years ago, where they're going to be vying for either first or second place in the Metro and go on a deeper run in the playoffs all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals. Why sit here and pretend that that's what I like? I'm going to tell you what I want in my life. I want to see them hoist the cup this summer. I want to see Nico Hischier go over to the podium and shake Gary Bettman's hand and then lift that beautiful cup over his head, giving it a smooch and handing it right off, and then punch Gary Bettman right in the head, and then hand off the cup to Jack Hughes and watch them skate around the rink as we're going absolutely bananas in the Rock because, yes, they will win it at home, and we will be going absolutely crazy in the stands, hugging and going and just chugging beers. Tarps off everywhere. Half the stadium's tarps will be off. It will be phenomenal. So
I will say that the Devils, man, I don't know if they're going to be a second place or a third place finish. I will say it'll be a close race for them to finish either second or third. And I believe that they will just break the 100-point marker. That's what I think. I think they'll just get over that like 101, 102 type of deal. But it's going to be tough in this division because there's a lot of good teams here. So I'm thinking, I'll say a third place finish. I'll say a third place finish with like 102, 101 points.
Okay. Wow.
I'm going to disappoint you.
Oh boy, here it comes.
But it's kind of you can go either
Debbie
way.
Downer.
No, it's not Debbie Downer. I'm just realistic. I think the Devils are going to get off to a horrible start. I think it's going to be somewhere during the season, maybe around mid-December, they start to gain momentum. My issue with the Devils really is, can they be healthy throughout the season? Because if Jack goes down again, he could. If Jack goes down again, or Dougie has issues with the surgically repaired, or what was it, muscle or
Pec.
Yeah, pec, all that, and the division is very tough. Brett Pesce, still not 100%, ready to go. Luke Hughes going to take some time to get back in the swing of things. I think the Devils just miss out making the playoffs. 10th place.
Man,
That's what
I was like, I love how we can swing for the fence in this podcast, and Sam brings us crashing back.
I'm
down.
usually last season I had the Devils at 140 points. So
yeah,
We'll
boo
see.
woo.
I mean,
like
it's-
that. Brian,
No, this
Brian,
is boo
boo
woo.
woo. That's funny. Oh,
Hey, no,
boo woo.
that's a fair assessment. Like we were talking about,
it's all about the
I would not
injuries
be
to me. That's what
I would not be
I don't
surprised though, like
disagree.
you're saying, for this team to start out a little bit slow, learning this new system. I would not be surprised at all, and especially we talked about it earlier with a lot of guys coming back from injury, trying to get up to that speed again. So, and you're looking at it, and your top two defensemen, Pesce and Dougie, are coming off injuries.
Yeah. Or
So
here's another scenario: if they are healthy with what I just said, they'll start off slow, coming back from Europe, all that, and they're going to be like the New York Mets. Somewhere in month number 3, they go
Grimace
on
will
fire.
drop the puck.
Yeah, Grimace will drop the
No,
puck.
like
Or Hamburglar.
the Hamburglar is going to come to the Rock
Hamburglar?
instead.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be the Hamburglar. Who's going to throw like their hockey gloves over the the glass? Like what was his name? Jorge Lopez, was that who it was who threw his glove into the stands? Like, what was that, back in like May or June? It feels like 3 seasons ago. Remember that? Who was it? Jorge Lopez? He was like, I'm on the worst team in the league. The
Oh
relief
yeah,
pitcher,
it was,
he threw his-
no,
he
it
threw
was
his
this year. It was this year.
I know it was this
Yeah,
year, but it feels like 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Because this team is like the Mets are in such a different place than they were in like May and June.
Yeah. Maybe Curtis Lazar, takes a chicken finger off the ice and throws it back to the fans. He says, "This team sucks. We don't even deserve this."
Yeah. Well,
And then he's like, "Well, hang on," and he takes it back and he takes a bite.
it's crazy. It's like I think you get a 1-game suspension if you throw anything into the stands. If you throw an opposing players. I don't know.
Not if you're Jack Hughes. You can score a winning goal and throw your stick into the stands, and they'll show it on replays for the rest of eternity, my friend.
Yeah. Well, that's about it, man.
Well,
Final
that's what we
thoughts,
got.
or is that our final thought?
I think that's our final thoughts right there. I mean, I'm saying third with just breaking 100 points. You're saying what did you say? Second place?
I'm saying second at like about a 105 or 103.
Okay.
Like a little over 100
And-
points. Going on a
and
run.
Sam has them starting off slow and just missing the cut at the end of the season. And I think you know what?
But if
All
they're
three
healthy-
scenarios.
but if they're healthy, it's just it's a crap.
That's fine.
It's a fragile team.
I mean, I think that's a very fair assessment of where this team might go. I think that's a very fair assessment. Injuries played a big part last year, but again, this year it's new coach, new system, a lot of new players.
Dubs said we should bring back the Taco Bell dog and go on a tear. Yeah, that would be. Yo, Kalo, this, and you bring him up on a big screen.
I think we're gonna have to call in the Hamburglar though halfway through the season, and then that'll turn everything around. The Hamburglar wins Scoro in the second intermission, and that's what turns the entire season around. That's my bold prediction for the year. That's my bold prediction for the year.
Or the
Devils are struggling in November, and the Hamburglar wins Scoro, and that's it.
Or that giant Ken Danico weird blow up thing that they have run out in the ice.
Yeah.
It just demolishes people. Have you ever? Oh, next time you go to a game, Scotty, they have these. It's a Chico Resch, a Patrick Elias, and a Ken Danico, and whoever dons the Danico outfit, it's like these weird giant like
the sausage races in
Milwaukee. It's sort of, but they look so weird. Their jerseys are like on their shoulders, like down here. It's really weird. But the Danico, dude, he bodies people. Like whenever they have like the people in they put them in those like clear spheres and they run around and they like try to kick this hockey puck. He goes out there and he like levels people. He's looking to give people CTE. It's pretty wild. It's pretty impressive. But I don't know, man. Let's go ahead.
Sorry, according to Wimpy, Grimace will be in Atlanta tomorrow.
Good. We're gonna need him.
Yeah. All right. We're gonna wrap.
Well, this is a great season preview. Thank you, everyone, for chiming in here on the old YouTube page. We got games starting next week. This week. Actually, this week.
Yeah, this Friday.
This Friday. And by the way, don't be expecting a 9 a.m. My time Devils After Dark here, right? I'm just giving you guys a heads up now. Probably going to air at your regularly scheduled time a little later on in the day. Scotty's got work and everything else like that.
Scotty,
7 a.m.
Scotty's blowing us
7
off with
start
his
out here.
celebrity friends.
Yeah.
At the Michael J. Fox Studios.
Yeah.
Celebrity friends.
It's a 7 a.m. start out here on the West Coast, so yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. Thank God hockey's back.
Oh, I know. All right, I want to thank all those tuning in, dropping the podcast at midnight. Go to joinourcrew.com. Till next time.
Tons of updates there.
Yeah, tons.
Tons.
Till next time, let's go Devils.